recorded. So, okay, well, thank you so much for joining me to learn all about SSA's Liberal Arts in Advanced Spanish program in San Juan, Puerto Rico. This is a very special program to SSA, to me. I got to visit our site here last summer and really fell in love with our program there, between our staff, our students, and everything offered. I really think it's such an incredible opportunity. So here to share a little bit more about that. As we're going through, if you have questions, you can throw them in the chat or feel free to, raise your hand. You can interrupt. There's, we don't need to be too formal. But of course, if you have questions also after today, my email's on the end and you can email anytime. But we'll get started. So we're going to go over, just a few different things about San Juan as a site, the courses available, other opportunities available. And to start, we have a lovely picture of the campus of the Universidad del Sagrado Corazón, where our students get to study. And there's actually a Soka student there right now. So very cool to be collaborating with you all to offer this program. As you can see in this photo, one of my favorite things to point out, because I'm a former swimmer, is the Olympic-sized swimming pool right over here. That is just feet away from the dining center where students eat every day, the residence halls that they live on campus, and other academic buildings. So we'll talk a little bit more about the facilities as well, but I just think it's such a beautiful picture and really helps to show you where you are when you'll be studying in San Juan. Now, this is one of my favorite things to do to start whenever anybody asks about our San Juan program, is to show you a map. Now, if you don't know where San Juan is relative to the rest of the US, you've got to go pretty far southeast to get there. But it is known as La Isla del Encanto, the Island of Enchantment. And I always like to share that, once you get there, you understand why, because you truly will leave enchanted by both the locals, how welcoming they are, and how incredible of a community you're in, as well as the island itself, the biodiversity, the rich culture, and everything that you have access to as a student. A few things that are important to know are where you'll be located. So this circle right here is the Universidad del Sagrado Corazón. Again, this is the campus that you will be studying at and living on during your time in San Juan. And it's an incredible campus that we will touch a little bit more on in a second. This next piece over here is Viejo San Juan. It's Old San Juan, the very historic streets, cobblestone streets, very colorful buildings. This is what you might see in a lot of the travel photos that you see of San Juan when you're kind of looking up the island and the city itself. It's an incredible area, lots of very cool historic monuments and places to visit while you're there. And of course, incredible access to a lot of other things as well. Great restaurants, salsa dancing areas. So lots of fun to be had in Viejo San Juan. To just kind of orient you from the Universidad del Sagrado Corazón, from our campus to the Viejo San Juan area, it's about I would say 15 to 20 minute car ride. So it could look, maybe depending on how you're looking at this, it might look like it's very far away. It also might look like it's very, very close. And I would say it's kind of a nice distance where you're not straight in the Viejo San Juan district, but you're not too far where you can enjoy it still. And then last but certainly not least, I always like to highlight where the beach is that a lot of our students will walk to, take an Uber to, take a bus to, if they want to kind of have some time on the water. And of course, when I got to stay in San Juan, I got to stay close to there. And it's a very cool area, lots of incredible restaurants and different things to do over there as well. So our students are very close to a lot of different amenities. As just an overview of what's available, we have courses in many different fields. All of the coursework is going to be at the intermediate or advanced level of Spanish, and every student on this program does need a B1 to participate. If you don't know what that means, I just recommend working with your Spanish department and your staff on campus to learn more about how you can get there and how you can know if you're eligible for the program or not. A few of the specific areas that are offered that we have many students studying courses year after year is in kind of the business realm, in various liberal arts topics, maybe it's history, different things like that, as well as, of course, STEM, and nursing is a new specialty that many students come to Sagrado to study as well. Now, like I said, our programs are in Spanish in San Juan, but we do offer the potential for internships in English. Our internships in English or Spanish, the English placements will be a little bit more kind of as a, as available basis, but Spanish internships are much more widely available. And then, of course, the cultural opportunities, a few different ones that we offer. I'm just going to let whoever this is in. Okay, there. So we have a few different cultural opportunities for students, whether it's the El Yunque National Rainforest Tour, a day trip to Ponce on the southern part of the island, and the Viejo San Juan Tour as well. We like to make sure that our students are doing more than just in the classroom the entire time. Again, we have programs here during the semester as well as our summer programs, but of course work with Soka to figure out what's going to work best for you. And then for life on campus, as I mentioned, all of our students stay in residence halls right on campus there. The rooms are typically double rooms, so you'll have a roommate, but then you share kind of like a bathroom suite with a few other rooms of other students. And so it can be a really nice kind of community style living. We often like to pair our students when we are able with a local roommate, so you kind of get that extra local connection as well. And of course the location is really great, just mere minutes from all of your academic buildings. Every student here does get a meal stipend of $25 daily, and this stipend is essentially sent to our students at the beginning of every month of their program. So this helps you be able to afford meals on campus, if you're grocery shopping, to cook, because there is a kitchen on every floor in the residence hall. Whatever you see fit, that is available to you. There is also an on-campus kiosk next to the dining center that does offer free lunch Monday through Friday for students as well. So I always encourage students to take advantage of that if that's beneficial to them. The thing that I know is that you just need to come with a Tupperware or a plate, and then they will feed you. A few other things I want to mention about this campus and this program is really just that kind of integration piece and the community of the campus itself. As I mentioned, the Sagrado campus community is very tight-knit. We like to say that they have a puerta abierta policy, which is like open door. And so people get to know each other very well. Often the president of the campus will even know the SSA students. And so it can be a very nice and supportive community where, you're not a number, you get to be the unique individual you are and taken care of and valued as such. With the campus also, I mentioned a few different facilities. With that Olympic-sized swimming pool, there's also a gym facility that's available to all students for free. So, if fitness is something that you want to be keeping up with, or if you're an athlete, you're not limited to that, and you don't need to go any further than on campus. As I mentioned, the experiential learning components, the internship or service learning is available. And these can be opportunities on campus or off campus as well. We've had students do internships in every single term before, summer and semester, and the opportunities that our resident director, Alexandra, finds in Puerto Rico are quite unique. We've had a student intern at the recording studio that Bad Bunny records at. We've had a student intern in the IT department on campus at Sagrado, a student intern at the ACLU. So many different areas that are available for those types of experiences if you're interested. I mentioned our resident director, Alexandra. She is your go-to staff when you are on site in San Juan, and she is incredible. She's a great resource and really, truly provides above and beyond care for our students. She's available 24/7, and she is fully bilingual in English and Spanish. So whatever support you need, she's there to give that to you. And then, of course, like I said, the campus community is quite tight-knit, and it's very secure as well. There is an entry gate and a little security guard at the entrance of the campus that You have to stop by every time you enter campus. When I was on campus, I even had to go through it. And of course, I was with Alexandra, so everyone knows her. So, they were able to let us in with ease. But it's really great to kind of know about those avenues. And then there is kind of different security in the residence halls as well to make sure that, students and their visitors are safe on campus. There is no visa or passport needed for students from the US or international students in the US. So just know that this kind of helps provide additional access to students. They also use the US dollar in San Juan in Puerto Rico. So you don't need to worry about a conversion rate or anything there. You can be a little bit more comfortable. And then of course, the island itself, and like I've said, the community of Puerto Ricans, they are so welcoming, so caring, and they really do want you to get to know about their island. I shared a few examples of internships in San Juan, and I just wanted to touch on a few other areas because I know that it can be important to know what's available when you're going somewhere. And like I said, they're quite customized to each student. We don't guarantee any individual placement to a specific student, but we also want you to know you're not limited to past opportunities. Again, there's a lot of great support for these, and they're all credit bearing. So depending on your academic plan, they can go abroad with you. These are some photos of the residence halls. I think it's always helpful to know a little bit about what you're going into before you're living there. This is a photo of the residence hall from the outside. I just personally love, I'm from Wisconsin, for those of you that don't know, but I loved just seeing the different nature and biodiversity on campus, how green it was really quite beautiful. And then the residence halls themselves, like I said, it's a double room. Now, this room is one that they only use for tours, so that's why it doesn't have the closet doors and everything isn't actually set up for people to be living in there. But every room comes with 2 beds, 2 closets, or 1 large closet split into 2, and then 2 desks as well. So each student has enough space for what they need. This photo here is that shared bathroom I mentioned. This is where you'll be sharing typically 2 to 3 rooms with 2 students each are sharing that bathroom, like the shower room and the toilet room, and then the sink vanity outside. And then, of course, this is one of the common spaces. Every single floor has one, and then the kitchen that's available on every floor as well. So you do have access to those different facilities, and laundry is in the campus dorm as well. I mentioned the cultural activities and excursions, and San Juan has some of my favorites. Most of our students participate in either a salsa dancing workshop, a mofongo cooking class, and then all of our students do participate in a tour of the Viejo San Juan, area of San Juan, which I got to do the tour that our students go on, and it is quite special, very cool. You get to see a lot of different history pieces and learn about kind of how the Viejo San Juan area came to be, and really just a special way for students to learn more about where they're studying. The other 2 excursions I mentioned are both like the bigger day trips that we offer students. So we have Ponce, which is known as La Perla del Sur, the Pearl of the South. And it's a very interesting city for students to get to go to and visit and kind of just see a contrast from life in San Juan versus other areas on the island. Many of our students really enjoy this trip and get kind of getting that other glimpse of somewhere else. And then of course El Yunque, this is a very cool excursion. I actually got to participate on this when I was there over the summer. You can see me with our students and then Alexandra here as well. So on this tour, it's a day-long trip. You leave from campus in the morning on a bus with everyone, that SSA we hire for our students privately. And then you go into the National Rainforest El Yunque. For those who don't know, El Yunque is the only national rainforest in the US National Park System. So very special to get to go to this. For me, I was just kind of in awe all day. I had never been to a rainforest before. So, much like many of our students, it was a very new opportunity for me. With the El Yunque excursion, we always hire a private guide. And so that guide will take our students through the rainforest. We typically do about 3 to 4 different kind of little hikes in the rainforest. They're not very strenuous, but they're very exploratory. This is from like one of the hikes we did, and our guide, Richard, was just pointing out different flora and fauna, sharing a lot of information, and his expertise was very much appreciated for those of us not in, not in the rainforest world. This is just a beautiful viewpoint I had to share photos of. And then this is one of the rivers in the rainforest that we actually swam in all together as a group. For those who don't want to swim, you know, you don't have to. But for me, it was very cool to get to swim in a river in the rainforest. Now, I really like to share, recently, my colleague and I presented at a conference about the immersion on site for students in San Juan. And something I just wanted to emphasize for students that are getting ready to go is our 100% en español policy. This is our Spanish-only policy that we have across all of our program sites, but it's truly emphasized in San Juan because of our resident director, Alexandra. She is incredible, like I've shared. And something that I love is that she gives our students a lot of practical tools, practical phrases to help them with their Spanish learning. I didn't have many people, you know, trying to speak with me in English once they heard me speak Spanish with them on site. But every single individual is going to be different. So you might come across that where somebody might want to speak in English with you and either practice their English, or they might not know you speak Spanish. And so Alexandra really likes to help prepare students for that and give them the tools to make sure they can practice. So, you know, a few things too, she always shares is, you know, puedes cambiar al español, podemos practicar el español, something like this to help you kind of really lean into that piece. We also have, of course, you know, the different phrases to help you if something, you know, if somebody's a little too quick or somebody's a little too fast with their speaking. So, you know, puedes repetirlo, something like that. So, you know, I really just want to share this because I think it's important to know that you have great support on site for your Spanish learning and immersion. This is also a quote from one of our past students, and I just think that it's really special because for him, going to San Juan was the first time he had ever been out of the state of Wisconsin, and it was a program that really, truly kind of helped change his life. His quote is just, aprendí lo que significa crecer, servir y ser parte de algo más grande que yo, which means I learned what it meant to grow, serve, and to be part of something bigger than myself, which I think truly is just the attitude of our students going to San Juan. Now, a few just other helpful tips. I'm going to go over this fairly quickly. We're almost to the end. But for students who want to apply to this program, again, make sure that you're working with the Soka staff to learn about, you know, what you need to do on campus to get ready to go abroad. And then once you're ready to apply to SSA, you'll have to create a portal account, and you can do this directly from our website. Make sure to use an email that you check the most frequently. We typically ask for both, you know, for a few different emails throughout the process. So if you use one email and then we need your student email later, we'll ask for both. But in your portal account, you will have your application to your specific program. This is the first phase of the application. As a reminder, all of our applications are free, so you don't need to pay anything to apply to an SSA program. But this is the first phase of that application where you submit your personal and academic information. This is essentially, you know, your major, minor, GPA, other information we might need to know if you're eligible for the program. A transcript, it can be unofficial, so you don't need to pay for an official transcript to apply either. The apply for your passport, you don't actually need to have a passport again for the San Juan program. So just know that this is usually something we're asking of our students just to confirm, you know, if they're able to go to whichever program site they are. So just know that that might be a little different depending on your program. And then the homeschool approval form is something that, again, your advisors at Soka will complete for you to say that, yes, the student is able to go on this SSA program. Then typically, I would say within about a week or so of you completing your application, you will get your acceptance information from SSA. As long as you meet our prerequisites, we really don't have a reason to not accept you. And we want to accept as many students as possible on our programs and provide that access to them. So know that it's not a matter of, you know, a certain number of spots on every program. It's more so if the program fits for you and if it's going to be a good fit for everyone. A few things that you'll learn about in your admission decision. Of course, now this is an admissions acceptance letter from a student accepted to our Spain program. So like I said, you won't need a visa going to San Juan. So this is something you don't need to worry about. but everything else is very relevant. You'll have the pre-departure requirements, your program fees. You'll learn if you, if you pay SSA directly or if you pay your institution. And then, of course, we always recommend to not book your flight until we say so. But if you do want to book your flight early, just book a refundable one. And then the pre-departure phase is that second phase of the application once you've been accepted. And this is where you submit your Spanish placement exam so we can really confirm your level of language. This is also where you submit your course selections. You can tell us which courses you'd like to take if you would like to do experiential learning. You will submit any sort of housing preferences if you have certain things you like in a roommate or certain things that will help you succeed better in your living situation. We like to take everything into account. And then a few other materials as well that are just important information for us to make sure that we help support you as best as possible and that we have everything we need once we get you ready to go abroad to whichever program. SSA, we do offer scholarships to all of our accepted students. So you can apply for all of these scholarships, but you can only receive one. I recommend looking into the details of all of the scholarships and, writing your essay to be as competitive as possible. The prompts are below here. You can see each specific prompt. And all of this information is also on our website as well. But if you have questions about the scholarships and what's available or other ways to fund your study abroad program, let us know. We'd be happy to help provide you with other resources. So with all of that, that is all that I have for you today. If you want more information or anything or have questions, please email me. My email is up here on the screen. Like I said, I'm Jenna Luganville, so I am your main go-to person for all questions about this program, and I'm happy to help you each step of the way. So please don't be a stranger. Does anybody have any questions right now before I stop our recording? Okay, I think we are good to go. If you do have questions, like I said, feel free to email. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you in San Juan.